So collect all the information and organize them into 5 categories: assets, liabilities, insurance, income, expenses. Asset includes mutual funds, stocks, gold, real estate, fixed deposits, provident fund, public provident, and other asset classes. Your liabilities includes home loan, car loan, or a personal loan. Then expenses include typically, regular insurance payments, your utility expenses like electricity bill or Netflix kind of regular subscriptions. And then your income includes from your business, profession, or an employment. And the most important point is about insurance claims, both life and health insurance claims. So in case of an unfortunate event where a child loses both parents, and especially if a child is minor, then an appointee has to be appointed. Appointees could be grandparents of the child, that means mother and father of the deceased, or if grandparents are not there, then brother or sister of the deceased, that means uncle and aunt. These appointees will be working as a legal guardian and will transfer the asset till the time he or she does not turn major. Death certificate is the most important document before you approach any financial institution. Make sure to have at least a minimum of 20 copies, and deceased name should match the official document issued by the government. Then another important document is will. Find out if there was a will prepared by the deceased, and if that is there, then practically it can save you from all the running around. The only challenge is there are very few who prepare and have that will in place. In those cases, go back to those 5 pointers what I have mentioned earlier, like dividing your documents into 5 categories: income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and insurance. So like original insurance policies, mutual fund account statement, holding statement, stock statement, employment related documents like provident fund, gratuity, or invoices in case of a professional, so things like this. So how do you find out all the assets left behind when there is no will? Well, that's a huge problem nobody wants to get into, but there are ways you can track this information. The first step is to check your bank accounts, because almost all the transactions like your mutual fund SIPs, your redemptions, stock purchase or sale details, bank rates or dividend or FD interest, your EMIs, your insurance premium, almost everything is directly made out of your bank account. So scanning these documents closely will give you major information about all these financial transactions. Second step is to check email and phone records. The email account can provide you important information like consolidated account statements, that is CAS, issued by the NSDL, National Securities Depository Limited, or Central Depository Securities Limited. And this can give you information about your dividend, demat accounts, mutual funds, and sometimes EIA, that is insurance account, and the policies which you are holding. That's very important. Make sure to keep the deceased mobile phone and keep it remain activated for a few months or maybe to a couple of years so that you can get those regular alerts. For the liabilities, there may be a loan like home, car, or a personal loan. Banks or financial institutions will anyways track you down, and a co-borrower, legal heir, or a guarantor is supposed to repay the loan on the basis of the share what they have received in their property. A lender will invoke the provision of the agreement by sending you an intimation or a legal notice. For the life insurance claim, a nominee or legal heir can submit death certificate, KYC related document like PAN card, Aadhaar card copy. In case nomination was not there, then a legal heir certificate, and they can claim the sum insured part. In case if death occurred in the hospital, then doctors' reports are also required. Though most of the claims can be lodged online. In cases you may be asked to visit their insurer's office physically, and that may take a while to get the claim money back. Apart from regular claims, there's another set of claims which is available to those who are in active employment, and that is under EDIL, Employee Deposit Insurance Scheme. For a minimum of 2.5 lakh rupees to a maximum of 7 lakh rupees can be claimed under this. Health insurance claims towards corona is on a rise because of daily increase in corona cases. Now there are so many cases which are being rejected on a daily basis. The reason being is it is not falling under your inclusion and exclusion of your existing insurance policies. For example, you have a regular health insurance policy which requires you to get hospitalized and have an active line of treatment and a standard treatment procedures. Now, most of the COVID cases are being treated at home, that is home hospitalization, maybe because of lack of beds, or maybe because it's a need. And now those cases are not covered with your regular insurance policies. Some companies have started offering home hospitalization cover. Second is a cost of PPE kit and things like this, which are not a part of your regular policies, especially in the first wave. Now it has been made a part of your policy, and still you can't get the entire cost of treatment towards PPE kit and things like this covered under your regular policies, only a certain part. But if you have a Corona Kavach or Corona Rakshak policy, which are standalone specific Corona policies, you will get the benefit of the entire PPE cost, home hospitalization, as far as your Corona Kavach policy is concerned, up to 5 lakh rupees. So make sure that you read your policy document, especially if you do not have a policy like Corona Kavach, because your standard policy may have a lot of inclusion and exclusions. So that has to be taken care. And for a cashless policy, hospital will take care of these expenses through your insurer. But for a reimbursement, it's a task because of the number of cases which are being pending to be cleared, and you have to run from pillar to post. So make sure that if it is possible, right now it is not that possible to choose a hospital of your choice. Make sure that you have a hospital which is attached to this cashless facility. So most of the financial tasks has to be complied within a period of specific time frame. For example, a life insurance claim has to be lodged within a period of 3 months to 6 months, though there is no standard time period as such, but the more you delay, the more you need to explain the reason of that delay. For a health insurance policy, typically most of the policies where like you have to opt for a reimbursement, you have to lodge a claim within a period of 15 days to 30 days. For transferring of all the other assets like real estate or mutual fund or stocks, again there is no standard timing, but you have to make sure that you lodge all these transfers or insurance claims within a particular, I would say, reasonable time frame, which is like 2 to 3 months.